This is Gerald Johan van Waans at the educational channel that is in support of the theory that is also explained and developed during the study of the development of the word, and you have also some extras that have other associations with this theory in the application of the word. Both of these volumes are also one book, but I recommend the separate volumes because they're slightly extended and they have a little bit extra explanations. The theory is about the meaning of letters and letter combinations, how you can recognize them in words, how you can develop them. Basically, there are orientations in time and space, but also there is a way to change this into the formation process which is behind it. The formation process is called sound in form, but it's not the real foundation. That's why it was a bit more difficult to analyze and explain what is all behind this, what is playing with this. But I can make it a bit more simple that when you realize both things, the orientation of where exactly they are a reference to and the way how they form themselves in a formation process. It's actually a process that is in these two, going into these two directions. It's pointing you into a direction, but at the same time you can also express it with a formation process. In these last couple of videos I will do both at the same time in an educational way so that you can see how it works. And I will do this in this video with a lot of examples. I have the combination of letters of the P with the L. I will explain it with the demonstrations of plank, plint, plea, please, plot, plan, plat and plant. Okay, let's go. So for some reason this video frame of my explanations was deleted. So I have to re-record it, and I hope that I give an introduction which is equally well pronounced. The letters themselves, the real reasons of why they exist and why we follow them and why it follows certain rules and why we follow these certain rules is that they follow the rules of a position in time and space, and each of these letters has a specific position where it exists and what kind of it has a couple of associations there also in the formation process. This formation process, this secondary process, is called the sound in form because it allows you to make forms and to visualize them and so on. These formation processes, if you follow them directly, they will come easily to physical forms, but it is not necessary always coming towards a physical result, because these are in fact also directions. They direct you in a certain way, and it also directs your mind in a certain way. These two layers of the formation process and of the associations that you make because the positions makes your mind go into a certain direction are two layers that I hope to combine in this video, and then I will show them to you. So sometimes it's easy to use certain puzzle pieces like I have here. I have here the P, which is the puzzle piece, which is only a derived vision. It works, but it is just like it's showing a frame of direction. It is not the thing itself. There's a reason behind it and so on. So always be reminded what it is. But it will work often. It will be helpful often as long as you know what is behind it. And what is underneath it I will explain very shortly. I have here the P and the L. So I will use this combination. The P is basically the result of a process. It comes out of a process. It's a pressed, pushed forward solution during a process. So it basically says, okay, we can deal with it, and we try to change some of the elements in it, so in that way that we can make it work in the process. There's a whole reason behind it. Where is the position in time and space? We will not talk about that, but just remember the results, the formation process. That's what we will demonstrate this time. So we'll need to remember, and that will work as well. We have here a processes, and we press out our results. The L is something else. The L is a position where at some point everything works fine, and it will work out further. So we have also an increase in making it visible, in pronouncing itself, and it also makes itself more physical in that way, to increase in volume most of the time. It's in the two-dimensional frame that it will be presented. And when we add that to another letter, in this case we will add it to the P, it will also be more clear what we have. It's more visualized, it's more dimensional even, so you add these things all at once, so that you can see more what is the result, what is the physical result of it. In this case, with the pressure, it will have more pressure, there will be more stimulants to show its solution, because you also have the question there, and you also have a pressure towards a solution. And this idea will be noticeable in all the words that I will show you. So you have then a way that you push yourself towards visualizing better the result that we like to see with this process towards it as well. And if we need for it also an increase of or an extra dimension to show it even better, it will be helpful. And that's all in the letters, and that is also what I will show you in my examples. The examples will be plank, plint, plea, please, plot, plan, plant. I will start with the first word, plank. I will build it up. I will make a really educational thing. So here are some of the phases. So the pl we have already, with the N added, the K added, and the A added, the N added, and then the K added. I will tell you how I did this and how you can do this as well. So we have here the pl, the pressed out bl. With the A, we have to have the A orientation. It has to have a center, but also it has to have a plane, mostly a horizontal plane, that will be a very good guidance to help us to build further upon. So we'll add that to the pl, and we will get the simple as possible result, as you can see there. And therefore I had to enlarge the A a little bit so that it would fit and match, so that I have the reference point of pla. So I have the pla. The next letter is the N. So how we will add the N? What is a N? It is the something with something in it. Mostly it is a large thing, which a smaller version in it, so that you have so that it will become a content that you can use. That's the N. If I do that, okay, let's do that. I have the form here of plan, as you can see there. When I have the plan puzzle here, I will also have to add the K. The K is a breaking point, so let's add breaking points to the plan. It could be enough in the middle, but I have them in the full form as well. So I have here the plank, and the plank is recognizable what the plank is. I already had this example before, but I will go deeper into it this time. There's also a second meaning of plank, and that makes it a bit more difficult. It's because not everything has a physical form. The formation is not always most important thing, there's something behind it. And that's why words can be used different in different contexts, in different perspectives and so on. But the real thing behind it, the process itself, is always the same. So if you have a plank of how it is used, how it can be used as well, it actually is also, it also has the meaning, the underlying meaning, and this is even more important than the physical object. I had here underneath it the word plan, and the K of the breaking part is actually also saying I take out something, I select something out of a plan, and this is my result. This is also what you say. So basically it's not only the formations and the physical objects that are important, the reasons why it is formed are much more important. So let's go back into the words. Let's go from plank to plan and to plat, because this word exists as well. And see, and then build up back to plank and see how it is, not as from a physical plane alone, but also from the directions it's expressing there. So let's start again from pleu and add the plat here. But it is, in this case, I will add the extra dimension, which is a preference with the L. I will add the extra dimension to show what is really going on there. So I have here the plat. And plat actually exists in French, plat, but it's written differently. It's actually written as plat with a T. A plat, probably it will comes from plateau. It's a smaller version of a word of it. But actually, if you write it down, plat, the T is nothing more than a pointing out in at a certain place or placement that is important. And yeah, of course, it's on the A, so it's there. So it's the certain placement which is there. The T is not expressed, so it is not the most important. Emphasizing, it's more the rest is directing towards that plat. And I have an expression which expresses it pretty well, because if you express the plat at its best, you represent it at its best, you put it on the plate, you put it to the go to the people, and you have this dish on the plate, because the plat is a dish, but also the presentation. Everything from the word is directing to the presentation of a dish on a plate, and preferably to have the best presentation, put it underneath. What is the word again? A bowl. Opens it, and you focus immediately to what matters really, which is the thing on the plate. On the placement there on the plate is the most important, but the whole process towards it, from P of process to L, the presentation in the extra representation that is coming forth from it in the process and so on, that you processed during the whole thing. Here it has the form of the half bowl, and the presentation that pops up at the end. You have the T, the place itself. Plat also is an English word, it seems, and it has a reference to a piece of land. And when the T is expressed, the whole presentation is of P, L, and A is lessened. The T is the final result. The final result is the place itself, without much presentation needed, as with plat in French. The plat, we really have to focus on the place, where in the end we will focus upon. Let's go to the next word from there. Plan is actually at the same spot, but it's wider. It's the whole area of focus in which we put a content in it. Oh, it's still there. So from this plan of focus, we can also go to the next word, plant. And with plant, there are two meanings and actually both of them fit in the same spot when we simply point the point where plant exists and starts from. It's just a point that we have there. That's what we have in the middle drawing. There's a specific starting point in the area of focus that we have, and because it's the potential point of presentation, it also can be pressed out of it, and then we have something that grows out of the place, which is a plant. So a plant is something that is planted in an area. This area can be the focus foundation, but something can grow out. A plant in all the meanings of the word. And then we go back to the plank. So what is actually then going on plank? It will also fit in this more three-dimensional version. Also the plank has this, because the K is selection, it is a selection, it's a focus on a certain place of a selection which is there as well. It is more physical than that in the plank, but actually it is the real underlying foundation is also this selection, this slice which you take out of the area. And that's how you can also use it as, for instance, a central plank, or like a central plank of the bill. It's the same word, it's the same meaning, even if it isn't a wooden plank. Let's go to the next word. Plint. I expressed it like this. When I drew it, I had the difficulty that the P and the I is not a very good match, because the P is pressing towards 2 points, while the E is only just 1 point. So the pressing has to go towards the E. It was a bit difficult how to express it. But what I know already is like the P will be the pressing in, which will go into the in, and the E is the vertical line of something that is inserted. So that's the E always, which is given a content, or N, and which then in the end will be pressed in and inserted at a certain place because of the T, as you can see there. A possibility would be, again, like with the L, it's always like you say, okay, can't I add an extra dimension to make the expression more clear? And if I do that, I know already that it will fit better to what the plint is already. I will not do that, or I didn't do that, and it's not 100% necessary to do that, but it can help to have a better, more full expression, like the L tries to achieve a full expression. And if I compare it to what a plint is, I thought that this image that I received was not so successful, because it reminded me of planks that can, I don't know the English word, they are interconnecting, two planks that are interconnecting. That's more the feeling I had in plint. And I was a bit confused, because when I look at the plint, it's just a plank against a wall. But there are two meanings of plint. You have this plint from that you can, as you can see there underneath, and you also have the plint as the plank on the wall. And what is the most important thing of the plint? It's not the plank, it's the pressing in, fitting in at the corners. Even at the corners, it's a pressing in and fitting together there. It pressed into a certain point. And yes, then this drawing still is a match. I grasped it even before I knew it myself. So in the three-dimensional point of view, it will even be, of course, more easy to visualize. Let's go to the next word, plus. Plus is a Dutch word. It means lake, puddle, pool. So here also there's a difficulty with the S. I have the P, the L, and the A, and it has to go to the S. The S is at the side, it's at the borders, it's at the maximum that you can reach with it. And it's a bit confusing that I have to stay here in this, when I stay here in these 2 dimensions, it is where it doesn't match with the A anymore. So what would help me is that I have the A, I flip the A as well and add it there, so that I can express there as well, so in the full picture, so that I can add the S. It's not just a trick, it's a way of thinking that helps me to add the combination of A plus S. And here I have the A plus S. Is it very clear? Not yet, but all the content is in there already. The only thing I still need to do is, okay, let us add even an extra dimension there to show the expression what we have here. And if we do, yes, we have the pool here, the pool with a pressed out or pressed in, a pressed out flat surface actually, with at the side the maximum effect of the S forms here at the end. It could be even a W form in some ways that you interpret it, but it's not a cloudy mess. It is really a surface with the outer effects going wider or whatever. But the popping out thing is almost like a warning, like, hey, on this horizontal frame, watch out, there is a surprise in there. There is something in there. It is something that will get you wet in the end. So be careful, be careful, be careful. This is not the flat surface. There is something more behind it, and it will, if you confront with it into the process, you will feel that you will be pressed in to it and sense it. Something like that. I will go to a difficult more word, not from plus to please. And please is a bit more difficult because, of course, you have here the plea. And then already in the areas that I can see where it fits in, the A can be fit in the top and the A underneath. And when it's expressed like E is the great length to insert. So that's something that I can already recognize underneath. But this is not what you need, this background, because this is A plus E, and it's the other way around. So let's add it, the A plus E, and I follow the A which is already there, and see where it gets me. I have the E in the middle. That's more what I need, the E, the pressing out in the middle. And it's a small part missing. It's the E which I try to achieve. The E is our ideas, our insertions. It's something new, it's something extra. This extra thing is the plea. To get it, you want to have it out of the process. You try to get it out of the process. Maybe it's not the best expression ever, but you can understand it from the viewpoint of it when you understand what is underlying as a letter combination. So if you can make a better one, it's okay, but you can already understand from what I already said. The P is the process that wants to receive results. The A is what is directly processed. The A is what is actively engaged. And in the end, you have the letter E, which comes out, which is an expression of what you really have. That's what you desire. This is the desire for the solution. It will desire an insert of a solution to come out of the process so that it will fit. That's exactly what the meaning and the direction of the E is, which is also more widely explained in my book. But that's what you can understand by a combination of letters. Maybe the expression in this small expression of the abstract thing is not the most perfect one, but you can already have an idea, and it might be helpful. And with the pleas, this plea will be completed in the direction of all the processing results and all its effects that we want to achieve with it, as what expresses the S. This is, if this is not satisfying enough, these last two letters, okay, you can try yourself to make a better solution, but the most important thing is understand what is underneath. Abstract words are not always so easy to express as when you express them better. They are a very good example of like a symbolized form. A little bit better was the next one. The word plot is also an abstract word, but when I express it visually and with the P, I see the L there, the O on top, and then the T at the end, so the point of reference where I make a distinction. What I notice here is, and what is recognizable, is focusing towards, again, the end result of a process. Not necessary to its limits, but just I want an end result. It's all in the process of P plus L. In O, eventually into an environment, into a process, again, the O of a process of as well. If we compare it with all the definitions of plot, let's do that. I used the Oxford Languages reference. I have here unknown, the plan made in secret by a group of people to do something illegal or harmful. Or the main events of a play, a novel, or film, and so on. So a sequence, so that you have an idea of what the whole sequence of events is. Or a small piece of ground marked out for a purpose as building or gardening, here in the context of a vegetal plot, something else. A graph showing the relation between two variables, or secretly making plans to carry out as a verb, and again devise the sequence of events in a play, novel, film, or work. Does this match? What I said is it's all about working towards an end result of a specific process. Maybe I can express it better, but does that fit with a plan made in secret? This secret is not visible, but it is a plan working towards an end result. So as this plotting, it is there. The main events of a play in a certain sequence of events. The O is the process, so it can be as in parts, but that's not what it definitely says. But it is out of the process working towards an end, so it makes the visible what is behind it. So yeah, I can visualize what is the process about. I have a clue at the end. It is still a relative match in that way. A graph showing the relation between two variables. I don't know in what way it is meant that way, but it's also working towards the end results of a certain process. So yes, it could fit eventually. So you can say there is something underlying in the letter combinations directs you in a certain direction, and that is something which can be proven, which is true, which is real. The interpretation, okay, yeah, sometimes you have to learn it a little bit to recognize it better. But once you recognize it, you also recognize where you can use it for. If you recognize it very well, you don't need much of explanation. You can sense what it is doing, in what direction it is, and it will fit with all these words. And if you're not convinced, just try to make a symbolized version that expresses the word plot, just like that. And try to make it better than this one. This one is a spontaneous, not definition, but a spontaneous drawing of the letter combinations. Nothing more than that. And it expresses, for me, quite well what a plot can be. So, can you express it better? You can try. but I think this is already a quite nice tryout, let's say. Okay, anyhow, this was Gerald Johan van Waas again. Thanks for watching for this video. I intended to make these videos a little bit more like the educational channel, so in the way that you can already learn it. So the previous videos, they were also slightly like an introduction to confuse you a little bit, like hey, is this possible? Hey, but I can't do this myself. From this point on, there is a reference point in which you can gradually learn to do these things, associate these things yourself. I don't have to convince you anymore, but you can try these things yourself. But of course it needs a lot of exercise and guidance, maybe. That's why there's so much guidance with these videos. So many videos will be published and will still be published afterwards. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if interested, and jump onto this new wave of dealing with whatever this is. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and you will keep yourself updated. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.